Hello, my name is Steven Satterfield. I am the editor for Nopalize, and today we are at Nopalito. I'm with chef and partner Gonzalo Guzman. So Gonzalo, today we are going to make a couple different dishes that I want to talk to you about. But before we do that, I would like to find out a little bit more about who you are and how we got to this point. So if you can take us back to the very beginning in Mexico and tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
That will be a long story if I really go back to, to that beginning of my life. But well, I was born and raised in Vera Cruz, south of Mexico, till I was around 12 years old. Then I moved to Puebla to live there for a couple more years. And then I came across the border and made it here. And then I just started working, washing dishes for like 2 months, and then I started, I moved my way up to like a prep cook, like line cook, and then Kokari opened, that's where I met Chef Lawrence. Mm-hmm. So I started working with him, and then I applied as a dishwasher, and but he didn't let me wash the dishes, so he said he saw potential in me, and then he put me to prep right away.
So Chef Lawrence is Lawrence Jostle. He's the chef at Nopa. And how old were you when he decided to make you a prep cook at Kokari?
Well, I was around 15, 16 years old. So
wow.
At that time, to be honest, I wasn't really into cooking. I just wanted to get a job so I could pay bills, my bills and everything.
Of course.
But then, like, after some time, I just decided that if I was gonna be doing that, I was gonna just do my best and get more into cooking, and slowly I kind of fell in love with food. And then eventually, of course, the idea of like finding good Mexican food here was in my head, and I will go out there look for good Mexican food. Never was able to find one, and and the idea of like, oh, maybe someday I can open my, not my own restaurant, but partner with someone else and kind of like start something that no one really does here for Mexican food.
What was the tipping point that led you guys from the type of food that you were doing at Nopa to a conversation about a bigger stage for you to explore Mexican food?
It was all like kind of like a game.
Yeah.
Lawrence would always say we should open, because he saw that I wanted to open a Mexican restaurant. I was so into Mexican restaurant. It started like that, and eventually he's like, we found a place, what do you think? And then at that point, we also, Jose Ramos, my co-chef, when we first opened Nopalito, mm-hmm. He also wanted to open a Mexican restaurant. So we kind of both started playing with staff meals there, mm-hmm. and like doing and cooking for the staff. And then I think Lawrence kind of liked some of our dishes, and then he even felt more forced to kind of like help us to do, and to take the next step and go into that adventure of the Mexican restaurant, Nopalito.
I know that you mentioned that you're from Vera Cruz. Can you talk a little bit about the cuisine of Vera Cruz and what makes it special?
We're by the coast, so there is a lot of seafood there. We have a lot of the Spanish influence, and I think that's what makes it really special, because in some of our dishes lately, we've been doing some, capers, olives, and it's kind of surprising for some people that when we say authentic Mexican food, they don't think about those ingredients, because those are more like Spanish ingredients. Mm-hmm. And we also just like use corn tortillas there. Mm-hmm. In fact, I didn't know there were flour tortillas until I came here, mm-hmm. and then just coming across the border, I saw these flour tortillas, and wow, flour tortillas, but I didn't know them until I came here. And I think we like Veracruz, Oaxaca, Puebla. That south of the city of Mexico City kind of like really still keeps a lot more of the traditional, and like I don't know, it has the strongest, really strong base of what authentic Mexican food is. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes it really different from the north, which is a little different.
Mm-hmm. And I heard you mention several salsas. How many salsas do we have approximately at Nopalito?
Probably have around, I don't know, 60, 70, if not more.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And are you always coming up with new recipes for salsa?
Well, I have to say that I don't really invent anything.
Yeah.
It's all already invented somewhere or someone is already doing it in Mexico, or even here, some people are trying. What I kind of do, or I think my job is to do, is just to make this recipe from your mom or from a family or from whoever, that they just say, you know, a little bit of this, poquito or más. I'm trying to just come up with a recipe so we're always consistent on like flavor wise.
Right.
My mom will never have a recipe. She'll just like, okay, this and that, and grab this, grab that, and you know. So, yeah.
Chef Gonzalo Guzman, one of my favorites. Nice to chat with you. And
Nice to meet you
I guess now we should head into the kitchen.